And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media, always providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate, and tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals remain the same. We're going to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage with you so we can help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline number. You can call or text that line. It's an off-air number as well. Also, bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you on our website. We want to be your resource. We want to make you more street smart here. So go to consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors there. And these are the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region of Florida that we've assembled, we've vetted, and we bring on the show every single day to be your number one consumer advocate. It's Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio. My man Scott Kepler back in town, Mortgage Approval Group. Welcome in, sir.
Thanks, Brandon. Good to be back. Appreciate you having me in, and looking forward to having some good conversation, seeing what we can do to enlighten and educate.
That's right. Yes, sir. Good stuff. Thanks for coming in. And Scott from Mortgage Approval Group. We got also Michael Bauer making his debut to the Consumer Quarterback Show. You're the director and CEO, Tampa Bay CDC, I'm told.
Yes, Tampa Bay Community Development Corporation.
All right.
Welcome to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. So today we're going to talk a little bit about, some of the down payment assistance options out there, some of the affordable housing options, some of those types of things.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
We are happy to help our clients. Our market is West Pasco and Pinellas County, and been around for 36 years as a nonprofit.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Our listeners may remember Wanda Burlington has been on the show before as well. So.
Yes, we're happy to have Wanda, a great team member.
Awesome. Good stuff. We got Travis Mcintire in the house, 3D Solar. Welcome in.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Always happy to speak with Solar and have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, man. Yep. Solar's changing lives, changing the environment. Really just a booming area of business. Very big on the real estate side, of course, with this show. You guys are doing some big things. Fast 50. I think you were numbered 11 last year, or 12, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Very proud of that.
Lots of good things. David Ringo kind of directing that. He's the quarterback on your team over there at 3D Solar, doing a great job.
We got Tom Brady over there, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's awesome. So here we are on the show, going to help you win. That's our goal, and we have a feel-good story of the day. Lots of cool things coming up in our lightning round as well. We're going to go through and give you some tips in the fourth quarter here coming up. But this segment is brought to you by the Lucky Dill. Our official restaurant partner is the Lucky Dill Restaurant. They're located right here on Boy Scout Boulevard in Tampa. They've got a location on US 19, US 19 in Palm Harbor there. And great food, excellent wide variety on the menu. They're much more than just sandwiches, too. They've got great entrees, salads, and I urge you to check them out. The Lucky Dill, let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, and take them up on the special offers and incentives, and they're going to hook you up every time you go in. Just tell them that the real estate quarterback sent you, and they're going to hook you up with that free water with lemon every time. They're going to take care of you over there. So let's jump right into it, Scott. We got Scott Kepler in the house. Scott Kepler, Mortgage Approval Group, decades in the real estate industry, decades in mortgage, very knowledgeable in the space, and we talk a lot about the misnomers that people have. What's currently going on right now? What are you seeing out there?
There's a lot of talk about interest rates. That's the big thing right now, because interest rates are down. They're talking about a potential drop further in interest rates.
Wow.
But so that's a lot of the conversation, because that's what people are hearing in the media, and obviously it's a important topic, because if you've got a high interest rate and you own a home now, it might be worthwhile to look into taking advantage of the interest rates being down, and see if there's some refinance opportunities there, something that would allow you to pay your house off faster and keep around the same payment, or to save money every month, depending on what your budget calls for. There's some good opportunities there. But for the home buyers, it's a great opportunity because there's a ton of great houses on the market right now. We're in that peak season of a lot of availability of nice properties.
That's right.
And with the interest rates being down, that really helps people to be able to afford to purchase a little bit more house with the same monthly budget.
Yeah.
So that's, an important factor, when we're talking about, how the housing market's doing and, how quick houses are turning over, when they get listed.
Yeah.
And how much equity you're gaining too.
The absorption rate plays into factor. I want to go back to one of the things you first said when you talked about refinancing. If the rates drop, I remember back in the day when I was in the mortgage side, there was that 2% rule. Oh, well, it's got to be 2% to make sense. Is that a misnomer?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a huge misnomer because it's not always about the interest rate. It's about the total loan terms that you have. Meaning that if you've got a 3.5% interest rate and you've got mortgage insurance that's costing you, another 1% to 2%, of your overall payment is if it was factored as an interest rate, then there may be an opportunity to keep the same interest rate but get rid of that mortgage insurance, and for the long run it will help save you money. Or if you're comfortable with that actual monthly payment, lower the term, lower the interest rate a little bit down to maybe a 15-year and pay it off in half the time.
Yeah.
So there's some good options out there depending on, what the homeowner's actual goals are.
Yeah.
And that's what we like to talk to them about is, how long you're going to be in the house. What are your goals for the house? What are you going to do with it when you do upgrade or downgrade?
Right.
So those are the conversations we like to have so that we can give them a consumer 3 or 4 different options and let them decide if one of those makes sense. And we do it in a side-by-side comparison with what they have currently.
Right.
So they can look at a 5-year outlook and a 15-year outlook or a 30-year outlook, depending on what their situation calls for, and decide what loan's going to be best for them in the long term.
Right.
And in some cases, it makes sense just to stick with what you've got.
Yeah,
So.
Because if it's a situation where the costs are going to be too high or those types of things, it doesn't really have a big dollar per month savings, and that might be the case. But hey, at least you looked into it. That's what I would say. Get a review.
Absolutely.
Find out, get a review on it.
And that's the thing. It doesn't cost anything for us to take a look and give you your options. And if there's an option that's going to save you some money, then you decide if it's enough money to make it worth your time. But
yeah,
it's super simple, and a lot of our clients, unless they're doing debt consolidation or pulling cash out for renovations or something like that, a lot of the clients who are just trying to lower their interest rate or lower their term or a combination of both, we do those with no appraisal. And so it makes it very easy to really streamline the process.
Yeah, that's another misnomer I've heard is, and by the way, if you just joined us, Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking with Scott Kepler, local lender, support the local Tampa Bay economy, the whole Gulf Coast of Florida, basically, is where our show broadcasts, and mortgage approval group here in Tampa Bay. Now, what I some of the misnomers, again, there's different types of misnomers out there. And also when you mentioned earlier, you talked about that, your spreadsheet. You put the spreadsheet together. I like that column that goes over here, and it shows where by reducing a rate, and when you extend that out and you look 5-10 years out, there's going to be a number that shows you $135,000 or $185,000 of interest that you're not going to pay by shortening to a 15-year term if you can handle that type of a payment. But that's the one I think people just don't see, because I think as human beings, we're kind of short-sighted in a way. We're short-sighted and we only see the foreseeable. We're only looking at short term. But really, when you practice the long-term thinking, and I talk about that Edward Banfield Harvard study, about a 50-year study, into the upward socioeconomic mobility of Americans and other countries, and he talks about long time perspective. So I think the more that you bring that long time perspective into your finances, and you really say, hey, if we're able to shorten to a 15-year term or a 10-year term, yeah, we're going to have to buckle down. The budget's going to be a little bit tighter, but you're going to save $100,000, $200,000 or more in interest over that term.
Absolutely. Even if you don't plan on keeping the house that long, you're that much further ahead in your principal payments.
Yeah.
Because the term is so much shorter, and you're paying less interest because basically it comes down to you got half as much time to mess up, so they're willing to give you a little bit lower interest rate because you're a little bit lower risk.
And it's front end loaded with interest.
So, it's a great way to really attack that principle on a almost forced, platform.
Yeah.
Because you can always pay extra on a 30-year note too, but the difference is that you've got to be disciplined enough to do it.
Right.
So, the 15-year in the long run can save you some money if it, makes sense for your budget.
Yeah, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons.
We can do a 17-year term if that's where their budget needs to be, or a 21-year term, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
We can adjust the term to customize it. So if you've got somebody who's 2 years into their mortgage and they're like, well, I don't really want to go back to a 30-year, even if it does save me some money.
Right.
Then let's do a 28-year term, and you're not cutting off you're not adding any extra time, and it saves you a little bit less, but it's still 28 years versus having to go down to a 20-year or 25-year.
Flexible options. That's the key.
Definitely.
That's awesome. Mortgage Approval Group, local lender, support the local economy here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And more from Scott coming up in the show as well. We want to touch on veterans later as well. We got Michael Bauer in the house. We're going to talk Community Development Corporation, Neighborhood Works, Homeownership Center. Lots of cool things going on here in Tampa Bay, and solar coming up as well. Travis McIntire's in the house here with 3D Solar, and we have a feel-good story of the day here. Environmentalists have removed 40 tons of trash from the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by Trulieve on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate negotiations, buying, selling, or investing. We would love to talk to you. We're going to help you win in your real estate business. We got a couple of hot listings here I want to let you know about. We got a property on Shipwatch. This one is in Largo. It's just a 2 to 3 minute drive to the beach, and you are on the beautiful beaches of Pinellas County. 11540 Shipwatch Drive. It's unit number 1391 in Shipwatch on Shipwatch Drive. Now, this is offered at $258,000. Gorgeous property. It's on the second floor, so you don't need the flood insurance, and it's overlooking a beautiful lake. And the community has so many features there: clubhouses, marina with dry dock. You got tennis courts, library, pro shop, tennis pro, all kinds of good stuff there. 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit, 1,235 square feet. Great opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Also, let's talk to our developers, our business-minded developers out there, builders. 9200 Gun Highway. This is a property that we have listed at the corner of the Gun Highway and not Boy Scout. What's that road there? That's going to be the one just in Odessa, right off of you're traveling north on Odessa, but it's prime vacant land, 2.39 acres, and it's zoned RSC2. So you have a half-acre or larger lot, single-family conventional development there. Tampa International Airport close by, Tarpon Springs, Odessa. Now, the owner tells me this is one of the last undeveloped corners in the area. So just a great opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Check out all of our properties at PlatinumMVPTeam.com.
Sun is shining.
All right, we're back here in studio, and we want to help you win. So we're going to talk a little bit about down payment assistance programs, some of the community development. We got Michael Bauer in the house, president and CEO of Tampa Bay Community Development Corporation. And so, yeah, welcome in. And let's jump right into it. So I think a lot of times there's misconceptions when it comes to down payment programs. People don't understand what's out there, how are they structured, and there are some requirements in terms of some limitations rather when it comes to income. Let's talk about some of those programs.
Absolutely. So our footprint is Pinellas County and West Pasco, and each public jurisdiction has different guidelines on how their funds flow to buyers. They're usually SHIP funds. They can be other federal funds like home or CDBG dollars that come through to help offset purchase price for a first-time or affordable buyer.
Yeah, I like those. So the SHIP, I talk about a deal I did Scott, back when I was in the mortgage side. Back in the day, did a deal for a family member, and we were able to stack two different programs. One was $20,000. There was one that was $25,000. Total of $45,000 for my young cousin that bought a home, and that's $45,000 that he doesn't have to pay back. It's forgiven after 5 or 10 years, something like that. I mean, talk about changing somebody's life that they don't understand. $45,000, that's a year's worth of hard labor for a lot of people. That's a year's worth of income. That's down payment money that we have available for us.
Absolutely. So 3 years ago in our market in Pinellas County, an average home for our clients was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot, sold for about $125,000.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we hardly see anything under $200,000.
Oh, wow.
And the market increase, and wages have not increased over that time period.
Yes.
Recently, the Foundation for Healthy St. Pete did a study that Pinellas County has 38,000 households short of meeting the workforce demand.
Wow, 38. Let's say that again, because that's an interesting stat.
38,000 households short of meeting the workforce demand.
So the workforce is coming from Hillsborough. They're coming from South. Is that?
They're coming from other communities.
Commuters coming in.
Commuters come in.
Yeah. So that's a challenge, because Pinellas County is kind of unique in itself because it is a peninsula, a large peninsula.
Right.
There's you're almost on an island, for example. But so that's an interesting stat. So what's the implications of that?
So 3 years ago, when the average home was $125,000, and now it's $200,000, the gap that we're talking about, the funds to bridge that gap for a first-time home buyer and these public funds are limited.
Yeah.
And particularly as it's gone up, what helps the buyer find those homes to get into the first time and to be patient and helpful money.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me as well, 4, 5, 6 years ago, the boom was on. Everything was happening. The market was starting to turn, and you had these first-time buyers because it was tough as a listing agent. You're here. I focus on listing side. I got about 45, 50 listings at all times. We had listings, and we had first-time buyers that would come to us. Oh, we've got our pre-approval, but then we'd have these cash hedge fund buyers coming in and flopping the cash down.
That's right.
The seller's like, man, I can close in 10 days. I don't have to worry about their financing it. Yes, or here's the worst. It's a veteran. 100% financing for a veteran. But I hear their appraisals are more tough, and these things, is what they would say. So that's, again, that's another scenario that we saw play out. These hedge funds coming in and just throwing the cash around.
So we teach, we lend, and we build. We educate first-time home buyers, affordable home buyers every year. We have about 2,300 clients who come through our HUD counseling courses, and then we lend the soft seconds. We underwrite for the seconds, not the primaries. We don't participate in that market.
Right.
And then we build as well. We've built in our history over 600 homes.
Nice.
And so we provide these because our clients are desperate for houses.
Right.
And we've had cases in our class where people say, I don't care that there's a 3-foot hole in the roof. I just need the house.
Yeah.
And it doesn't qualify, So.
Yeah. Man, it's tough. So it's a tough challenge. That's when you have markets like that, you've got the division. You've got the division there. You got the high income earners that can afford the nice places, the waterfronts, the downtowns, the condos, the high end, and then you've got the people that a lot of times are serving those communities that are they're whatever their job title is. What typically do you see that type of buyer? What are they doing? What kind of job are they working in?
Workforce housing. We have teachers' aides.
Yep.
We have entry-level police officers.
Yep.
Firemen, cadets.
Yep.
Any nature of that, and first-time homebuyers just starting out from after college.
Yeah, just getting their they're kind of working their way up, getting that ladder started, going to the next rung on the ladder, so to speak.
That's right.
And it's holding them up. So you come in. By the way, if you just joined us, Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the show. We're talking with Michael Bauer. He's the director and CEO, Tampa Bay CDC, and a local nonprofit here, Community Development Corporation, based in Clearwater. So your company, you help people bridge that gap. You help them understand how they can qualify for these programs. You give them the training. You had mentioned HUD counseling earlier. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So our counseling course is an 8-hour course. It's a nominal registration fee of somewhere between $5 and $10 to join the course. There's no other cost. They come in any of the patient funds that we're talking about, SHIP funds, that come in for down payment assistance. The clients have to go through a counseling course, and it talks about anywhere from acquisition to insurance to getting a home inspection.
Yep.
And so it's a true overview education of what it means to own a home.
Yeah. That's great, and then they understand what it means to keep a home. Once they get the home, hey, here's how you have to keep the home. You're going to budget. You're going to, that's great. That's great that there's programs like that. What are the income levels that people have to be at to at one time it was like 32,000, I think. Then as it increased to 36, and
so it's all rated on the federal standards that are published by HUD for your local jurisdiction.
So HUD standards, and
it changes every year. But in this particular market, and it's rated. Depends on how many are in the household, 1 to 8. We're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of 50,000 to 70,000, depending on how many people are in the household.
Okay, so interesting, yeah. So the limiting. So I like what your company did then. So you said, hey, there's not enough houses out there that are at that $125,000 level. Let's build some. So
right.
So you went in and you built the smaller. Did you build a 3.2, 1,200 square foot type model?
Correct.
Yeah. So you're able to make that work dollar per square foot wise to get some of these hardworking people that are just starting out in their housing.
That's
career.
right. We find that we have 3 distinct markets.
Okay.
West Pasco is more rural. When you cross the line, the home prices are lower. The taxes are less.
Yes.
And so on. When we come into Middle Pinellas, Clearwater, It's more suburban, higher price points, harder to find lots. And then when we go into St. Pete, it's more of an urban market, more redevelopment areas.
Right.
And so each has its own difficulties.
Unique challenges, yeah. Yeah, I was reading an article this morning about that, just St. Petersburg, that part of St. Petersburg where there's construction going on both sides of the road. A lot of the business owners are saying, hey, I used to bring in $10,000 a month. Now I'm at $3,200 a month. I can't handle this that much longer. So there's always trade-offs, when it comes to development and those things.
So I was having a conversation talking about a workforce employee and the owner of a business, a small manufacturing in Pinellas County, had employees that said, we can't afford to work here any longer.
Right.
We can't afford to live in the community, or we can't afford to drive 2 hours each way.
Yeah.
And so with that, we started modeling a program, and basically we have privatized a down payment assistance program modeled after a Baltimore employer-assisted housing program.
Nice.
Where employers can donate monies to the community foundation, the Pinellas Community Foundation, and it's a tax deduction.
Nice.
And then it rolls back around through us for the employees to help them have down payment assistance for their house.
All right, good stuff. Thanks so much. Coming into a hard break here. When we come back, more from our expert contributors, Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to ConsumerQB.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Published author and professional speaker. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. Check out our book. And that led to, this is a prequel to our business that we launched with Ken Shamrock, the Ultimate Fighting Champion, UFC Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock, who actually just launched a bare knuckle fighting league with Des Woodruff, my other business partner. So he's been busy. We launched the Business Growth Celebrity Academy, and the Business Growth Celebrity Academy, bgca.co, helps you become a micro celebrity, grow wealth, build personal brand, and increase your status. Anyone can become a micro celebrity. It's easy, and we teach you how at bgca.co. Check out bgca.co. We've got daily webinars where you can check it out and learn about what you're missing out there. So we're back here in studio helping you win. We got Scott Kepler's in the house. Mortgage Approval Group, local lender, support the local economy. We've got Michael Bauer as well, Director and CEO, Tampa Bay CDC, and Travis Mcintire here in studio, 3D Solar, one of my favorite segments on the show, talking about solar coming up. But this segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving, and I can tell you from firsthand experience that they are a first-class organization. They do a great job with their either local or even a long-distance move. If you're moving all the way to Seattle, Washington, they can move you, and they do a great job, and they are our official moving partner, Brothers Easy Moving. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And I've got a hot property here, 7519 Pier Road. This property is in Port Richey. It's a great development opportunity. Again, attention builders, developers. This is an opportunity for a car lot. The owner says it'd be great for a car lot right here, right off of US 19, and it's close proximity to the Riverview. The river there where they're planning a future river walk right there, just like Tampa recently built. 7519 Pier Road in Port Richey, and it's another one of our vacant land or commercial type properties. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, Travis Mcintire, 3D Solar in the house. Solar is changing lives. It's changing the environment, and you guys are one of the top companies in the country with what you do. What's happening out there?
A lot. I'm very proud of it, too. I mean, they were growing like crazy. I think right now we're about 200, a little under 300% growth for the year, which is really, really what we're looking for. Wow. But here's what I'm still seeing. The scared consumer. Yeah. They're scared of these sales guys out there sitting at their table. Don't blame them. I'm seeing a lot of people that are not trained properly. They're over quoting. They're over promising. And when the homeowner gets the bill, they're like, hey, this is not what we thought. And it's hurting the business. So one thing that 3D Solar prides themselves on is size your system properly. Yep. And when I sit down with somebody, it's not a race to get panels on your roof as quickly as I can. I like to talk to you and ask you questions. Why do you want to go solar? Yeah. You know, what's your goals? I mean, what am I here to do? And that it's really made a big difference as far as in how our end consumers are, especially if you read our reviews and you see the referrals.
Yeah, it's true, and it's one of those things. You know, one of the things I love to do is support our show partners and the folks that come in, and like I just said with Brothers Easy Moving and several other show partners. You know, we sat down with you, and my wife and I, we just built our dream house, you know, on Lake Tarpon. So we're looking at bigger electric bills, and we sat down. Travis gave us the sales consultation. It was educational. It was, everything I expected it to be. You know, he answered every single question that we had, and we're in permitting now. And that's the fun part, waiting for permits. But yeah, so it's one of those things. You know, the thing that got me, it's like, you know, that line you said where, you know, you're guaranteed if you don't get solar to pay Duke, Florida Power and Light, whoever you pay, TECO, and it's almost guaranteed as well that it's going to go up 3 to 4 or 5% per year. So just like we were talking in the first segment with Scott. I mean, you know, when you think about long-term planning, you know that if you go with a solar option, we're going to have it paid off in 8 to 10 years. We're not going to have a power bill at all after 8 to 10 years. I mean, to me, that's a game changer, and that's something where, yeah, maybe you make some sacrifices in the beginning, but you know, actually you don't make sacrifices when it comes to payment.
You don't. You actually save them. I think that's what freaks people out, because when you sit next to them and they say, is this too good to be true? And they're looking
Right.
at you like, this is too good to be true.
Right.
I've been paying my electric bill to whatever utility company for 20 years, and the sales guy shows up and out of nowhere and from a door knock, and he says,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to eliminate your electric bill, and you're going to pay $50 less a month. Now, my wife's an accountant. She's going to look at him and say, prove it. And
Yeah.
that's what a lot of homeowners do.
Right.
But luckily, we're getting a good ground base of referrals to the point where I can say, hey, call this guy or
Yeah.
go see this person.
Yeah.
And if you're with a sales rep where they can't provide a reference, where they can actually drive by the job site or actually call the homeowner, there's something wrong with that. You know,
Yeah.
that needs to be a red flag.
Yeah.
If you're proud of what you do, your work will speak for itself.
Yeah, it
And
really
if you
does.
drive by one of our installs, there's no conduit on the roof, unless it's metal with no attic. But under normal circumstances, that's one of the cleanest installs you'll see in the area.
Yeah, and that's another one of the misnomers that people have, or I should say, pain points or confusion points where, oh, well, you're going to put holes in the roof, right? But you've got this patented process that makes it so simple.
That's a huge fear. We get over 40 inches of rain, and this year, heck, we could double it if we stay on pace. But
Yeah.
that's a huge fear for people. And I think that goes down to two things. You can have a great product that's got a 25-year leak-proof guarantee like Quick Mount PV, and that's why we use them. But you got to have the right people doing the job, because I can have a great product in my hand, but if I don't want to be at my job that day, or if I'm in a bad mood or angry at my wife and I'm not going to do the best job, then it doesn't matter what you have in your hand.
Yeah.
But at 3D, we have our own employees. We don't use subcontractors.
Yep.
We see these guys every day. And David Ringo, the owner, he's there every single morning sending his crew off.
Yep.
And I don't know of any owner who's still doing that as successful as David's become.
Right.
That's there at 6 o'clock in the morning saying, here's your screwdriver, go do a good job.
Right.
Showing up on the job sites and backing up what 3D Solar speaks, and that's do a good job.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk. What type of returns people can see, because this PV thing is real. I mean, it's photovoltaic energy, right? I mean, we're harnessing the sun's energy, and it just makes so much sense to do it.
It really does, because the sun comes up every day. And I think the last time I was here, I spoke about it with everyone wants to argue about global warming and what's causing this or that.
Yeah.
But what we need to look at is the people 200 or 300 years down the road, but no one's thinking about. And as we remove these natural resources from the ground, there's no way to replenish these.
Right.
And they're gone.
Yes.
But with solar, every morning when that sun comes up, hey, I got an opportunity to save people some money. So
Yeah.
that's an advantage of solar energy.
Yeah, it really is, and so there's so many advantages. You get the tax incentives as well, the tax rebates. That was an interesting piece of the presentation as well.
True, and I really challenge people to do this. I mean, before you rush in and sign with just somebody that comes in the front door, you need to do your homework on a couple things. Number one, do your homework on the tax credit, because your entire income is not taxable. So you want to check with your CPA, your accountant, or if you do your own taxes, we'd be happy to try to help you. But people sometimes can get misled on the tax credit.
Yeah.
So I say before you sign a contract and you commit to a solar company, you ensure that you will have that tax savings, because it's 30%. That's a big chunk of change if you're going to save it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you
Yeah,
have
it is.
financing available for people too.
Which is great. I mean, we
Yeah.
have 2.99 for 20 years. Nobody has that right now in this
Wow.
area.
Yeah.
And if you do your homework on the payments at 2.99 for 20 years, you're definitely going to save some money, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, and by the way, if you just joined us, I'm Brandon Rhymes. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking with Travis Mcintire, 3D Solar LLC. Tampa Bay Business Journal puts out the Fast 50.
Yeah.
You guys are up in the top 10, I believe. You've got also Inc. 5000. You showed up on that list as well. I mean, you guys are really doing the right things, and I believe, when you look at where we are, we're perfectly positioned here in 2019 for people to really, we're coming around on a lot of these types of emerging technologies, and I think it just makes so much more sense for people that can they got to have the right exposure, right? You got to have that, what is it, southern exposure on your home.
Preferably Craze, Westward as well.
And Westlert as well.
Correct.
So it's really just an opportunity for people to just sit down, have a consultation, and there's no sales pitch, no hard sales pitch.
No, and I definitely would love to get in everybody's home that I could, and just because we have trusted advisors at 3D Solar. Right. I'm the trainer, and I don't train to come in there and okay, try this sales pitch, it'll work, and then you'll get them.
Right.
That makes me sick to hear that. I mean,
Right.
if you do your job, I have solar on my own house, and I see the savings every month, and I'm married to an accountant, and when you're going to mess with an accountant, you better make sure you save them once you tell them.
Yeah.
And to see her excited about solar now, and see
Yeah.
I have TCO, so my bill's $15.32.
Wow.
And to show that to my wife and have her excited and tell people about it, it just really is, it makes it a fun process.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You got to have fun at this.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you have the environmental piece when it comes to solar. You have that, where you're doing something good. you're doing something good for the environment. You're leaving a legacy for your family as well. If you have children, you say, hey, I did the right thing. I did this for the environment.
That's why I do solar. I mean, because when I lay my head on the pillow with my final rest and close my eyes, I'm going to know that because of what I did for a living, that I left this world a bigger place, a better place.
Yeah.
Because if you take all the carbon footprint from all the systems that I've sold and my team has sold, gosh darn it, we made a dent in this world. And I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a great way to look at it, Travis. All right, stay with us right here. More from Travis coming up. We got Michael Bauer in the house, Scott Kepler as well, coming up in our lightning round. I'm going to ask Scott about VA loans as well when we come back as the veterans. We got a big event coming up for the veterans, first responders, active military, seniors, servicemen and women. We're working hard for you. We got an event planning with Captain Matt Bruce and Attorney Joe Pippin as well for seniors. He's going to come in and talk about the senior side of things, but we got some really cool things coming up for our servicemen and women, an event coming up as well. So our lightning round is right around the corner, and our feel-good story of the day. Environmentalists have removed 40 tons of trash from the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Got a couple of hot listings here. 4309 Frierson Avenue is in downtown, just outside of downtown Tampa, Seminole Heights area. This is a great property for development. It's a prime multifamily site, and this lot has been rezoned to multifamily, and you can fit 8, maybe even 10 units on the 0.32 acre parcel, depending on the plan approval. And we already have architectural renderings for 2 quadplexes there at this great lot downtown area, 4309 East Frierson Avenue in Tampa. Great opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Some hot properties at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com. We're going to help you win. All right, we got our feel-good story of the day coming up. But first, I want to go to Scott Kepler and talk a little bit about veteran-type financing. That's my dad was an MP. A lot of our show partners are, veterans. Let's do a word on a mortgage minute for the vets out there.
Sure. There's some awesome programs for veterans. Obviously, most of them are educated on what's available, but for those who aren't sure, we can help with determining what exactly you can qualify for. But in most cases, it's 100% financing for veterans, which is a 0% down payment, which is awesome. That leaves really just the closing cost, and a lot of times, the real estate agents are able to negotiate that the seller covers, the closing costs for them. And with rates as low as they are, it's a great opportunity. As far as rates are concerned, obviously we talked about earlier, but it's a great opportunity for veterans to really get out there and take advantage of the benefits that they have available to them.
Yeah, it really does. We're gonna have a good time with this event too. We're gonna really, invite some veterans in the room. We're gonna love on them. We're gonna help them. We're gonna give them resources. Captain Matt Bruce here does his Captain's America's Third Watch. He does every day on 860 and 1380. I believe it's 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. He does, and I call in Wednesdays. So we're gonna put together a great event for that. That's gonna be good.
Fantastic.
Look forward to doing that. Yeah. So here's our feel-good story of the day. Every day we're going to tell you something positive.
Tell me something good.
So this is environmentalists have removed 40 tons of trash from the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and the nonprofit organization Ocean Voyages Institute has successfully removed more than 40 tons of fishing nets and plastics from the area known as the North Pacific Subtropical Convergence Zone, or more commonly known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And the latest annual cleanup voyage by sailing cargo ship KWAI completed a 25-day cleanup mission in the Pacific between California and Hawaii. The ship returned to Honolulu filled with detergent bottles, beer, soft drink crates, bleach, cleaning bottles, plastic furniture, packaging straps, buckets, children's toys, myriad of all types of plastics floating in mid-ocean. And here's a quote. It says, "Satellite technology played a key role in our recovery effort, offering an innovative solution to find areas of dense plastic pollution," said Mary Crowley, founder and executive director of the OV Institute. The nets and the other debris were signs of proliferating plastic in the ocean. Pollution poses threats to marine life, environmental, coastal environments, shipping and fisheries, wildlife, and our health. It's very disturbing to be sailing through what was once only a decade ago pristine ocean wilderness and find it to be filled with all too familiar garbage, says Crowley. So urgent action is needed at all levels, curtailing the manufacture and throwaway of plastics, preventing plastics from entering the oceans, and enlisting public, corporations, and maritime industry in education, prevention, innovation, and massive cleanup efforts. The question is, are we ready to make it a priority to protect 72% of our planet? Yeah, pretty cool. Hats off to those guys and gals. That's a lot of work. And so that's part of our feel good segment of the show. I love doing that every day. We're doing something positive for you. So get involved. That's what we talk about. Get involved and do your thing. Do your difference. What can you do, right? All right, let's jump into our lightning round here.
The lightning round.
I am so good at lightning rounds.
I majored in lightning.
Here we go. We got top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Scott Kepler, Mortgage Approval Group.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brandon. My parting words of wisdom would be, if you're not sure as far as what you want to do in the future with either purchasing a home or potentially refinancing, is reach out to somebody on my team or somebody on Brandon's team, and let's talk about the options that are available to you. let's at least explore and get you prepared. And with all the great programs that are available out there, for veterans and for first-time home buyers and for people to refinance, there's some great options with the Tampa Bay CDC for down payment assistance. So there's some. Now's the time to do it if you're thinking about doing something.
Absolutely. ScottKepler.com. All right, Michael Bauer, CEO and Director of Tampa Bay CDC. Give us some nuggets of advice, some parting words of wisdom.
Best thing to do if you're considering to purchase a home is to find a HUD certified counseling agency in your area, Tampa Bay CDC in Pinellas County, and take a course. Get the education, explore, and find out what options are available to you.
I like it. Yep. And then take action. That's the key. Take action. Get out there and do it. And Travis Mcintire, 3D Solar.
My parting words of advice would be get an estimate from 3D Solar. I'll send a trusted advisor in your house, not a guy that's going to be a pushy salesman. I'll leave the contract in the car. Get your questions answered. Solar is not too good to be true. We have ethics, honesty, and integrity. Give us a shot, and we won't disappoint you. It's production and consumption. There's no rocket scientist to solar. So go with 3D Solar, and you'll make the right move.
Yeah, I like that one. And for those parents out there, or if you ever maybe even told a friend this, you ever heard that saying, act your age, right? You ever heard that, act your age? Gary Keller has a great one in his book. He says, are you acting your wage? Act your wage. Put a W on the front of it, right? So are you acting your wage when it comes to business or life, right? So meaning, from a business and time management perspective, are your habits and actions adding up with your desired income goals? Or if you sometimes find yourself saying, I wish, sometimes the language you use is so powerful. If you're wishing, chances are it's not going to happen. But I suggest what Brian Tracy called back from the future thinking. So you set that goal, and then you think backwards from that goal. So what do I have to do for every month to be a success, then every week to be a success, every day to be a success, and then you break it down to the hour. And if you'd like to earn $100,000, then it starts by working backwards. You got to trace those steps. Think of it as a rung on a ladder. So, I'm on this first step, I'm on the second step, I'm going up the ladder. Each rung on the ladder is another step toward that goal, that end desired goal, whether, whatever that is for you. And I always talk about Pareto principle. Put Pareto principle into action. That's your 80-20 rule. So you boil down, if you wrote down everything that you did on a daily basis, there's going to be if you write down 10 things, there's going to be 2 out of those 10 things that really move that needle towards success more than the others. And that's what you got to focus on. You've got to find out what are those things for you. If you're in sales, it's going to be prospecting. It's going to be, door knocking or getting out there, making the calls, networking. You have to be focused on where you're spending your time, what's influencing you, and who are you allowing to influence you. Find a mentor, find someone to role play with, an accountability partner, and invest time and not necessarily money. That's another misnomer people have. Invest time in your personal development, because that's going to make a difference. That's what's going to help bring you into that higher income bracket, if that's what you're looking for, that success level. All right, let's do another quick round here. Scott Kepler, Mortgage Approval Group, top tips, nuggets of advice, words of wisdom.
Again, it would really be going back to what we were talking about earlier. Is it's all about timing and preparation, and part of that is developing a plan. And I'm sure the HUD classes and whatnot will help with developing a plan and understanding their budget and how it kind of works together. But our team can assist with that as well, and talk with you about the actual loan programs and how your plan that you've developed with your budget can work together with those.
Yeah, have the plan, have the pre-approval before you go looking at houses. Right. Everything has an order to it.
Absolutely.
Get that pre-approval from Scott Kepler, Mortgage Approval Group. All right, Michael, got another nugget of advice for us? Some parting words of wisdom?
I'd like to speak to the employers. Please call us if you're having trouble with retention programs, losing employees in Pinellas County, West Pasco. Please reach out to us and explore the employer-assisted housing program for
excellent
deductions and retention.
I like that. And the website is?
TampaBayCDC.org.
TampaBayCDC.org. All right, Travis, send us home here. Travis Mcintire, 3D Solar, top tip.
You bet. I would say one thing that I would give anybody a tip with is make your word worth more than your wallet. Because nowadays everybody chases the dollar and chases the buck, but their word doesn't mean anything to them. And at 3D Solar, the most valuable thing that I can say that means to us is our word. Because when we tell you something, we're going to do it. And today, people's word doesn't mean anything. The 3D Solar, that's all we live by is our word.
Yeah, I like that one. It's and then you look online, you have clickbait everywhere. You have click here for pictures of whatever, insert celebrity name, right? And so that's the challenge where we live in, and it goes back to that focus, the power of focus. What are you focusing on? What are you allowing to influence you? What does your environment look like? Your work environment, your house environment. Those are the things that you really have to keep a close watch on. Those are the things that are going to influence you and help you live a better life if you're doing it the right way. And so, hey, another great show. I want to thank Scott Kepler. I want to thank Michael Bauer and Travis Mcintire for coming in. Thanks so much to our listeners, our viewers of our TV show out there. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. Consumer Quarterback Show page out there as well on Facebook, and connect on LinkedIn. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing, carry it with you to and from your commute, and hand it to that person that you see in need. Be a force for good in the community and do something kind for one another. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 102.5 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.